Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and I had a bit of a splurge. I'm letting myself off because I did get a lovely gift token from the children in my class last year. At the end of the summer term, the parents got together and gave me a lovely gift card for me to go and buy whatever I wanted from off the high street, and so obviously I'm going to spend it in a bookshop, and I'd kept it and I hadn't used it yet, so I have now used it. And I was really feeling like I didn't have very many graphic novels on my shelf, and I like to have them there because there's occasional times where I just want to go for it and have a binge. So I was looking at some graphic novels, I'd watched some people's videos recently, and I'd really enjoyed seeing what other people had been reading. And so I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to pick up some of the ones that I wanted. So if you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that I'm not a massive manga reader. It's just not something that I've ever really got into too much. I'm going to try Orange, which is a manga that has been recommended to me numerous times. It's sort of a contemporary, I believe, with a little bit of a magical realism element to it. And I will be talking about that when I've read it, because I'm reading that this month as part of Valentine's and the Contemporary Readathon. But the other manga that I've really got into is Princess Jellyfish, and I have read up to volume 6, and there are 9 volumes and all 9 are now out in English, and so I treated myself to volumes 7, 8 and 9. If you haven't read Princess Jellyfish before, this is a series following our main character Tsukimi, I think is how you say it. I'm not 100% sure, and she is obsessed with jellyfish. She's fascinated by them. Even from a young age, she's just been truly fascinated by jellyfish, how they look, everything about them. She's quite shy, and she's moved to Tokyo, and she's living in a house full of, it's like a house where you rent a room, and all of the people that rent rooms in this house are young women who are maybe a little bit shy, and for want of a better word, and I think it's even in the blurb, are a bit geeky or nerdy, and about various different things, from sort of specialist little dolls or TV action shows, and obviously our main character is obsessed with jellyfish, and they are all petrified of what they class as the fashionable girls. So these beautiful fashionable looking women, they just freeze and get sweaty and just can't talk to them and find them like very, very scary. And so one day Tsukimi is out and she bumps into one such fashionable, beautiful woman, although it turns out that it is actually a boy dressed up as a woman, and there starts a relationship that then starts something much more, and there's all sorts of things going on. They're trying to save the house from being sold under them. They are setting up a fashion, and there's all sorts of things going on, and I can't wait to finish this series, and I'm really pleased that I got hold of these ones. The next one I picked up, I just think it sounds fascinating. It's called Space Boy by Stephen McCrannies, and this is a story of Amy. She lives in deep space, and for Amy everyone has a flavour. So I think like her mum, she says, is like a mint flavour, and everybody she meets has a different flavour. And she has this best friend, but her dad loses his job, and they end up having to go from space to Earth. So she gets in this cryotube, and she's to be frozen for like 30 years on this journey back to Earth. So when she arrives at Earth, everything is different and strange. All she can think about is the fact that this boy she's left behind is going to be sort of 30 years older than she is, because she's been frozen for all this time. And everything is just weird and strange. And then she meets a new boy in her class at school who doesn't have a flavour at all, and I think we're just going to follow the idea of someone going to an alien place, somewhere that's different from them, and how that might make them feel, and it's sort of this sci-fi element, and I just think that sounds fascinating. The artwork in this is beautiful and colourful, and I just can't wait to try this one really. The next one will come as no surprise. I am following Saga. This is Saga 9. It's the next one that I need to read. I feel like this needs little introduction now if you have watched anybody's channel that likes graphic novels. But Saga is sort of the story following two races that are at war with each other, and star-crossed lovers, one from each race, this West Side Story type idea, have fallen in love and had a relationship, a sexual relationship, which has resulted in a child. And it's about how they're on the run from the government because that isn't allowed, and it's very graphic, very graphic, so it's definitely an 18+, I would say, and it's beautiful artwork, but it is very graphic, and there is lots of swearing and sexual things in here, so be warned about that. The next two I picked up because I saw them on someone's channel, and if I can remember who, I will link them up above. I think they were recommendations, but I can't remember who they were from. I'll try and remember, and as I say, I will link their video up above. The first one is called Twisted Romance, 12 Tales of Love from Comics' Hottest Talents. I love the front cover of this. And the back says, Twisted Romance is a romantic anthology from well off the boring beaten path. Demons prowl the 70s New York disco scene. Humble creative assistants fall for movie stars. Space-contained spa with frustratingly handsome pirates. Princesses run away with dragons. All this and much more can be found within these pages. Comic stories of love and lust, steamy prose and bewitching comic shorts from and for all walks of life. So there's all sorts of artwork and comics in here, and I'm looking forward to giving this one a try. And the other one is Motor Crush, and I've picked up Motor Crush 1 and 2. This was recommended, and when it was described I just thought, yes please, this is right up my alley. It's about this place called Nova Honda, which is the racing capital of the world, the home of this World Grand Prix, the illegal street race, the Cannonball, and the racer caught between both of them, Domino Swift. And I believe it's about Domino, who is this rider. From what I can gather, there's this thing they put in the cars to make them go faster, which I think may be giving her some sort of special powers. I don't know. She's you know, by day she does one thing, by night another, so I'm looking forward to trying these ones out. The final book is a bit of a sort of cross between a arty book and a regular book. It's called The Life, Art and Cookbook of Pinellas. It's Leave Me Alone with the Recipes, edited by Sarah Rich and Wendy McNaughton, with Maria Popova and Debbie Millman. Now this just sounded right up my street. It says the newly discovered illustrated recipes of wildly influential yet unsung designer C.P. Pinellas, introducing her dazzling work in food and art to a new generation. Browsing at an antiquarian book fair, Sarah Rich and Wendy McNaughton discovered an original painted manuscript tucked into a display case that drew them in like magnets. It featured a vibrant painting of hot pink beets and a hand-lettered recipe for borscht, written in script so full of life it was hard to believe it was more than half a century old. It was the work of one of the most influential graphic designers of the 20th century, C.P. Pinellas, the first female art director of Condé Nast, and a pioneer in art and media whose impact lives on in the work of many artists and designers today. Completed in 1945, C.P.'s homemade book was a keepsake for her connection to the Jewish food of her childhood. She called it Leave Me Alone with the Recipes. For Wendy and Sarah, it was like finding the identity of a mentor and hero whose presence they'd always felt but whose name they'd never known. C.P. was a force, an independent creator whose rich archive of drawings, recipes, diaries and letters to family and friends led them into a captivating history of mid-century design, art, food, New York City society and culture. Here they've teamed up with Maria Popova of Brain Pickings and Debbie Millman of Design Matters, along with contributors Mimi Sheraton, Stephen Heller, Paul Scher and Myra Kalman, to reintroduce C.P. Pinellas to the world and claim her place in design, food and cultural history. With Pinellas' illustrated cookbook and a select section of updated recipes at its centrepiece, this gorgeous volume will delight foodies and design devotees alike. So it's just got lots of information here. It's sort of an information text, and then you've got these beautiful illustrated recipes, and I just love a good book about foodie things, and I just think this is going to be a joy to read. So those are all of the graphic novels and picture-y, designy books that I've got recently. I can't wait to get stuck into all of these. Let me know if you've read any of these or if any of these piqued your interest. Let's chat as always in the comments down below. Bye for now, BookTube.